welcome to Social Impact Ireland's video tutorial. My own name is James and today I'm going to take you through some tips and tricks on how to shoot your own business promo video. The basic structure of the video is going to consist of the piece to camera, which is just like this. You're going to sit down, talk to your camera, tell the world what you do, what you make, what you sell, who you heal, and how awesome and amazing the world is because your business exists. And then you need to get footage to match up stuff that you talked about in that piece. A few things would be very, very helpful if you can get is, number one, tripod, mini tripod. This little adapter piece, I actually took off a selfie stick that I bought for €7 in a shop way back. And I just screw off the top and put it on the big tripod or the small tripod. It's just a holder for the phone and it's got the little screw hole on it and away you go. Super simple. After the tripod, get a lapel, little lapel mic, and get an adapter for your smartphone. Lapel mics are really good and I strongly recommend that you use it especially for your piece to camera, which the audio is very important for that. So we're going to break it down into 4 pieces. Camera, lighting, sound and script. The key ingredients of any great video. Number 1, get to know your camera. Check out other tutorials online on your specific make and model of your camera. There's plenty out there, so you can't go wrong. The more homework you do on this, the better it will be. So you need to check out how to change the settings on your camera because we do have a few requirements that have to be locked in and set for the entire time you film. Setting number 1, aspect ratio, 16:9. Setting number 2, frame rate, 30 frames per second. And last but not least, quality setting. We're going to shoot everything on 1080p. Lock in those 3 settings and don't change them the entire time you're shooting. Another requirement that we need everyone to do while you're shooting with your phone is landscape. Always shoot in landscape. Don't hold the phone like this. When you shoot in portrait, this is what it looks like. When you shoot in landscape, this is what it looks like. These are just 2 examples. So what we want to avoid is those 2 black bars that run down the side. The reason for this is because we want it all to be consistent across the board. And on a personal note, this looks way better. Number 2 on the list is lighting. You don't need to buy anything for this, but if you can, or you have stuff lying around like LED lights bought in a DIY shop, flashlights, torches, the light on your phone, anything at all, stick them under the desk light behind me. Grab some lights, lamps, anything at all, just stick them in the shot. Here's a time lapse of me creating this frame specifically for this video to show you what you can do with very limited time and just finding stuff around the house. But if you don't have any lights, natural light, check this out. Here's a great example of all natural lighting. All I'm doing is standing in front of a window. You can stand in front of a glass door, an open conservatory, anywhere there's lots of light. Stand right next to the window, put your camera on the tripod and away you go. That's about it. Besides the lights on the desk and the lights behind the desk for dramatic effect, this is just all natural light lighting my face. This is a great way for your bit to camera. If you're shooting in kind of relatively low light, these are ideal. So what I would recommend is getting any LEDs, get a torch, get anything that produces light and use it to light up the subject. So you just simply go, see this? Simply just put it there. Make sure you don't get it in the shot and just light up. And if you want to move the light so you can create this light effect. It's not too strong here, but it just gives it a little bit of extra punch. Sound is vital for your piece to camera. I repeat piece to camera a lot in this video, I'm very aware of that, But I want to stress and emphasize how important that bit is, because even if the picture is bad, with the good audio, we can still use that. Here's an example of with and without a lapel mic. As you can hear, it's quite, picks up everything. A lot of background noise around here. There's a lot of tractors, car movements, and there's a bit of wind. And this is what it sounds like with the lapel on. So you can hear there's a big difference in sound. It's much more clear with the lapel. All this noise is not good for a lot of videos. Some videos it is, but I always recommend doing it inside where you have complete silence. You've complete control over the video and the sound. I would strongly advise you to practice with the microphone. So you can use the onboard camera, they are fine, but I would say practice with it and watch the video back. Turn up the volume really loud, see what it sounds like when you blast up that volume, because that's when things will start to change. If you can get an audio level, it should look a little like something like this. This will be very good for checking your levels. And if you don't have this on your phone, maybe there's an app out there, but that's another story. So when you speak, you want the levels jumping up as high as you can in the green, but you don't want to be hitting red, because when you hit the red, it peaks and distorts, and you can't really do anything with distorted audio. If it's really distorted, it's no good. Okay, your script. However you want to write your script yourself is totally up to you. That's your thing. But what I do recommend when you're shooting your piece to camera, how to break the script down. First of all, refine the script as much as you can. Practice, practice, practice. Repeat it to the mirror. You want to come across confident on camera, but you don't want to be reading from the script, because it's a bit uncomfortable and it's a bit robotic, and it's not very, doesn't flow well when you're reading directly from the page. But to memorize pages of script is really, really difficult. So break it down into maybe 5 or 6 paragraphs and take each paragraph at a time. So start with paragraph 1 and memorize it, repeat it. You know, if it doesn't sound right, the grammar, just switch it around if you want it just to come out a bit more natural. So practice it in front of the camera, repeat it again and again and again. But here's what I really need you to do when you're shooting your piece to camera script is because you're going to need many takes. It's going to get frustrating. You're going to start, you're going to start jumbling up words and forgetting lines and stuff. But what I need you to do is only send me the completed pieces that you've done. Don't send me 18 hours of you trying to get through the script, because we don't have time for that. So start and stop the camera every time you start and stop. Paragraph 1, get it right. Talk to the camera, nail it. Move on to paragraph 2, and then you can send me 5 clips rather than 55 clips. So practice. Welcome to Social Impact Hour. For any of you who are very speaking about your business, set your promotion video. Now we're going to talk about framing. All your phones have a setting called grid lines. Switch them on. It looks like this. So these grid lines that run, and it splits the frame. Well, something like that in there. But this line here is where your eyes should always be, or close to it. It doesn't have to be exact. But this is visually pleasing, the eye line. So if you're shooting yourself or you're shooting somebody, don't be center frame here. Be at the eye line. It's visually more pleasing. And here's some examples of using the other lines when you're framing a product or something. It will make your videos and your production better because it works. If you're shooting in a horizon, if you want to make a feature out of the sky, it's better to put the horizon on the lower line. Or if you want to make a feature out of the land, put the horizon on the upper line. You start playing around with it. When you always have the grid on, whenever you're going to shoot something, you can try maybe on the left hand side or the right hand side. If you're doing an interview situation, you can give person that open space so they're talking to somebody, or it can be the same on the other side. Get creative, see what you think yourself. But play around with it, it's quite fun. When you start looking at it through these things, I always have my grid lines on, always. But When you do setups, very important is to check what's going on in the background, because this happens. Absolute carnage. You do not want this in your video. So be very wary of what's going on in the background. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to teach you a couple of tips and tricks for walking with the phone. If you want to do some tracking shots and movement shots, what you do is you hold the tripod like this, or like this, or you can lean it in on your body, but always move your body, not your hands. So you lock your hands in, and what you can do is slow, very slow walking, and control your steps. Or this is actually much more stable. And if somebody's walking towards you, you can contract them, or you can follow them, or you can walk side by side with them, but just always. And then if you want to do some camera movements, always move your body. So when you lock your hands, take the step and twist your body to move, and you get much more stable footage. Lovely little shot you can do with the tripod. The two outer legs, and you use the control with the back leg and just lean the tripod very slowly forward. They're quite nice, quite effective. All the footage outside of this shot was shot on my Samsung A12, bog standard phone, the native camera app, and this is what you can do with the footage. This is without a lapel in the woods, with just the ambient background noise. So we won't really know until we pop in the headphones and listen to the video back, which is why it's always a good idea to test the audio before you start recording. So record a piece, listen to it back straight away, and if the background noise is good, it's a good place to come, because the scenery is beautiful. We are in Drumahilly Woods, Drumillihi. So you can see, moving the camera too much is very disorientating, and if you're shaky hands, that's not very nice. Pop it down, exposed for my face. But the problem is you don't really want to be looking down at the camera. So if you can either raise the camera up to be level with your eyes, it's much better. Or if you want to pop it on the bench and then maybe sit down on the floor. So when you put the camera on the floor or on a bench and you're looking at it, always try and walk in and out of shot. Go across the whole frame. Just gives you a little bit of play, like this. So you get the idea, and just multiple shots of the same thing, the same pathway. Put the camera on the floor, walk up ahead of it, walk back down towards it, walk across it, hold it, face it this way, face it that way, look at it. It's up to yourself, but just get multiple shots of, especially if you're in a scenic place like this, just put the camera down and let it work its magic. And to finish off the video, I'm going to give you the golden rule of filming. Absolute golden rule of filming, and that is back up your footage. Whatever you shoot on a particular day, make a copy somewhere else on a separate hard drive, a separate computer, a separate SD card. Back up your footage. You don't want to delete your footage after spending days or whatever shooting. Back up the footage. If you listen to anything out of this video today, listen to that. Back up your footage. And also do all the other stuff. About 3 or 4 years ago, I was going down to the beach for a swim, and I brought the phone with me, and the sky, the clouds were just rolling up the beach as I was having a swim. And this whole video was shot on a Samsung J3, except for the underwater shot. I had to use a GoPro for that, because phones aren't waterproof. Sometimes you don't need any fancy gear, you just need a cool background or a cool place. Thanks so much for watching the video, everyone. I really hope it helps, and I can't wait to see what kind of footage you come up with. Get practicing. Baltic! That's how it's done. Hot coffee after a dip in the ocean. Absolute magic. And this mist just adds to the flavour. So cheers.